So, good morning, students. In this second lecture, let us discuss the different types of electrochemical cells. In the last lecture, we have discussed what is electrical conductance. We have also discussed what is specific conductance, what is molar conductivity, and we have learned Kocharo's law. So, in this Kocharo's law, we have learned that the migration of ions is governed by uh, different cations and anions. So now, today we will discuss the different types of electrochemical cells. There are two main types of electrochemical cells, that is electrolytic cell and voltaic cell. The first is called as electrolytic cell. This is the cell in which there is a non-spontaneous chemical reaction is forced to occur by passing direct electric current into the solution from external source where electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. I repeat again, electrolytic cell is a cell in which there is a non-spontaneous chemical reaction which is forced to occur by passing direct electric current into the solution from external source where electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. The example, the example of such type of cell is a voltmeter. The second type of cell is called as a voltaic or galvanic cell. So this voltaic or galvanic cell is a cell in which there is a spontaneous chemical reaction which is producing electricity where chemical energy is converted to electrical energy. Such type of cell is called as voltaic or galvanic cell. The example of such type of cell is a Daniell cell. Now, let us try to discuss in detail what is a electrolytic cell. This electrolytic cell, it consists of a vessel containing molten NaCl. Two graphite rods are inserted and connected to external source of direct current. The electrode connected to negative terminal of the battery is cathode, and that connected to positive terminal of the battery is called anode. In the external circuit, the electrons flow through wire from anode to cathode. Fused NaCl dissociates to form cations and anions. The reaction taking place is NaCl gives Na plus Cl minus. So here the sodium ions migrate towards cathode and chlorine migrate towards anode. So this from this diagram we can clearly understand that there is a migration of sodium towards the cathode and migration of chlorine towards the anode. From this diagram we can clearly understand what is a electrolytic cell. Here there is a reduction half reaction, and here in this reduction half reaction sodium ions get reduced by accepting electrons, and in the second oxidation half reaction the chlorine ions get oxidized by giving up electrons to anode, forming neutral sodium chlor neutral chloride ions. So now let us go on to the next concept, that is the quantitative aspects of electrolysis. The quantitative aspects of electrolysis. There are 3 to 4 quantitative aspects of electrolysis. The first point is that the quantity of electricity. If an electric current of strength La is passed through a cell for t seconds, then the quantity of electricity, that is Q, is given by Q is equal to L into T. Q is given by L into T, which is coulomb, which is in the quantity of electricity is given in coulombs. The second aspect of electrolysis is the moles of electrons passed. The charge carried by 1 mole of electron is referred to as a Faraday. I repeat again, the charge carried by 1 mole of an electron is referred to as 1 Faraday. If total charge passed is Q into C, if the total charge passed is Q into C, then the moles of electrons passed is equal to Q upon F. Moles of electrons passed is equal to Q upon F, where Q, as you all know, Q is the quantity of electricity in coulomb, and F is nothing but F is Faraday, which is coulomb per mole electron. Coulomb per mole electron. Now the third aspect of electrolysis, the third aspect of quantitative electrolysis is the moles of product formed. The moles of product formed is the third aspect. Here, consider 1 mole of ions, that is Mn. M is a metal. Consider 1 mole of iron, M, and which is in aqueous form. It has n number of ions which have positive charge, which will require n moles of electrons for reduction. Which will require n moles of electrons for reduction. The reaction is as follows, which is a reduction reaction where electrons are accepted. So these aqueous ions, M ions, accept n number of electrons and give free metal ions. So the mole ratio, therefore, the mole ratio is equal to moles of product formed in half reaction upon moles of electrons required in the half reaction. Therefore, the moles of product formed is equal to moles of electrons passed. Moles of product formed is equal to moles of electrons passed into mole ratio, which is equal to, this means that moles of product formed is equal to Q upon 96500 into mole ratio. And finally, the moles of product formed is equal to L into T upon 96500 into mole ratio, Now, the final fourth aspect of electrolysis is the mass of product. If suppose W is a mass of product formed, and this mass of product formed is given by W is equal to moles of product into molar mass of product, M. Therefore, number of mass of product is equal to Q upon 96500 into mole ratio into M. Again, which is equal to L into T upon 96500 into mole ratio into M. When two electrolytic cells containing different electrolytes are connected in series so that same quantity of electricity is passed through them, then the masses W1 and W2 of products are given by The similar equation we can use. In place of W, we can write W1 for first mass and W2 for second mass. So W1 is equal to Q upon 96500 into mole ratio into M1, and W2 is equal to Q upon 96500 into mole ratio into M2. Therefore, W2 upon W1 is equal to mole ratio 2 upon mole ratio 1 into M2 upon M1 into M2 upon M1. Therefore, finally, the mole ratio 2 upon mole ratio 1 is equal to W2 upon W1 into M1 upon M2, which is finally equal to W2 upon M2, W1 upon M1, and which is finally equal to N2 upon N1, which is finally equal to N2 upon N1. So with this, we complete the aspects of electrolysis. Now we go on to a instrument which is used very important in terms of electrochemistry, which is called as salt bridge. So salt bridge is nothing but a U-shaped glass tube. It is a U-shaped glass tube. It contains a saturated solution of KCl. It contains saturated solution of KCl, or it may also contain saturated solution of ammonium nitrate or sodium sulfate in a solidified agar-agar gel. A hot saturated solution of these electrolytes, of these electrolytic solutions in 5% agar-agar solution is filled in this U-shaped glass tube, and it is allowed to cool and solidify, forming a gel. It is used, so this salt bridge is used to connect two half cells or two electrodes, forming a voltaic or a galvanic cell. The functions of salt bridge are as follows. So as you all know, this salt bridge is uh, used to connect the two half cell. It plays very important role, and the functions of this salt bridge are as follows. This salt bridge maintains the electrical contact between the two electrolytic solutions of the two half cells. The second function of the salt bridge is that it prevents the mixing of the two electrolytic solutions. The third very important function of the salt bridge is that it maintains the electrical neutrality in both the solutions of the two cells by flow of ions. It helps to maintain the electrical neutrality in both the solutions. The fourth function of salt bridge is that it eliminates the liquid junction potential which can be developed between the two solutions. The liquid junction potential which is developed between the two solutions can be eliminated with the help of the salt bridge. Now let us go on to the different sign conventions which are used to represent a galvanic cell, or in short, if you want to write a cell formula or a cell diagram, then these sign conventions are used. So, as we all know, when we use a galvanic cell, when you draw a galvanic cell or a voltaic cell, this is represented in short for notations or diagrams which includes electrodes, aqueous solutions. Short notations are used for electrodes, aqueous solutions of ions, and other species that may or may not involve in the reaction. So in a galvanic cell, these short notations are used. The following short notations or sign conventions are used to represent the cell or write the cell notation. The first very important notation or sign convention is that the metal electrodes or the inert electrodes like platinum are placed at the end of the formula, are placed at the end of the formula. The second point is that the galvanic cell consists of two half cells. As we all know that the galvanic cell consists of two half cells or electrodes. The two electrodes of the electrode on the extreme left hand side is called anode, where reduction reaction takes place. Where, I repeat again, the galvanic cell consists of two half cell electrodes. The electrode on the extreme left hand side is anode, where oxidation takes place. And this electrode carries negative charge. While the electrode which is at extreme right hand side, the electrode which is at extreme right hand side is called cathode, where reduction reaction takes place. And this reduction electrode carries a positive charge. It carries a positive charge. The gases or insoluble substances are placed in the interior position adjacent to the metal electrode. The next convention, that is, if suppose we have different phases of solids or liquids in a electrolytic cell, then in such cases, a single vertical line is written between the two phases like solid or aqueous solution containing the ions. The next convention is that a double vertical line is drawn between the two solutions of the two electrodes, which indicates the salt bridge, connecting them electrically. The concentrations of the solutions or ions or the pressure of the gases are written in the brackets along with the substances in the cell. The last convention is that the concentrations of the solutions or the ions or the pressure of the gases are written in the brackets along with the substances in the cell. So different ions in the same solutions are separated from each other by using a comma. If suppose, for example, if we have different ions of iron, then the Fe plus 3 and Fe plus 2, they are separated by using a comma. So this is the seventh convention that is used. Now, the example by which we can write the conventions of a electrolytic cell is an electrochemical cell. The example is a Daniell cell. This Daniell cell can be represented as Zn solid, a single vertical line, Zn plus ions, 1 molar is the concentration, a second double vertical lines between the two, Zn and copper, the Cu plus 2 aqueous 1 molar solution, and lastly a single vertical line along with Zn. So in this way, we can represent a Daniell cell. So now we can also have a second example. Here, if suppose we have a cell where Pb is used as the anode and Ag is used as the cathode, then the cell represented the negative electrode on the far left hand side, the positive electrode on the far right hand side, along with the two aqueous solutions of Pb and Ag, 1 molar, and their signs, and its double vertical line which represents a salt bridge. The cell reactions are represented as follows. The oxidation half reaction, as we all know, electrons are lost there during oxidation. So Pb gives Pb plus 2 electrons. And in the reduction half reaction, where electrons are accepted, here Ag, the Ag accepts electrons to give Ag. The reaction has is Ag is taken twice. So if you write the overall reaction, Pb plus 2Ag gives Pb2 plus 2Ag. So in this way, uh, we come to an end of the sign conventions. We will go on to the next point in the next lecture, that is electrode potentials.